and there's a doorway that says boys and a separate doorway on the other side of school that says girls.
I'm thinking, God.
Why are we doing this?
Because people are mostly boys and girls?
But why split them entering a school building?
Because they pee differently? Jesus Christ, I have to explain this?
Neil deGrasse Tyson went on Bill Maher's podcast, the Club Random Podcast, and Neil deGrasse Tyson recently has been going viral for saying some absolutely ridiculous things. In this clip here, in this debate, this fiery debate between Bill Maher and Neil deGrasse Tyson, he says some of the most ridiculous things that I have ever heard in my entire life. Like Neil deGrasse Tyson has been going viral, like I said, for saying insane things. This is one of, if not the most insane thing that I have ever heard him say. And he says a lot of crazy things. This guy is fully brain rotted. He is fully engulfed in the woke cult. Like he's it. He no longer believes in science or logic or fact. The reason he believes in the woke religion. That's it. And you know it's bad whenever Bill Maher is getting into debates with you because what you're saying is so far woke that even Bill Maher can't stand for it. Let's check out this clip here from the Club Random Podcast of Bill Maher destroying Neil deGrasse Tyson on the topic of gender.
Is it better thinking? Mm-hmm. Is it better thinking? I know you think that, like, you had a thing with Martina Navratilova.
What do you mean I have nothing? What do you mean?
A beef. Well, she has beef with you.
Why does she have a beef with me?
Because you think, like, guys with dicks should get in the women's swimming pool, basically.
Well, whatever got clipped and reposted, I don't know. But what I said was that in this emergent space where you have people expressing themselves on a gender spectrum, and you want to—
If you enjoy content like this, then make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
To now compete in sports, that's still a frontier to be solved. And I don't have the answer, but I can suggest one, whether or not it'll work. Maybe we don't compete by gender anymore. We compete on hormone ratios, okay? There was a woman who had uncommonly high testosterone levels, and they wanted to disqualify her because of how manly she was when she was born a woman and competing as a woman. So that's how we're going to do it.
You know, this is
what you really want. Wait, Bill, no, I've thought this through more than you might think I have.
Oh.
So what you really want is an interesting contest between people who are similarly talented. The least interesting Super Bowl you could ever watch is a blowout by halftime.
See, what we agree on is that there are anomalies in human nature, whereas
yes.
The vast majority of people, I'm sorry, are still male or female. And certainly every cell in our body is dictating one of those other sexes. I mean, obviously—
Well, the hormones are. Yeah.
Obviously also I make sperm and other people make eggs.
That's what hormones do. Yeah.
You can't deny that. Okay. So but as liberals, I think agree that, there are anomalies in nature and they should be respected and protected. But this attempt to reorganize all of society around what a very tiny percentage, who again, we can protect and respect without pretending that every baby is a jump ball like penis. What the fuck? I don't know. That doesn't mean anything. We have no idea what this child is. I mean, that seems to be where you want to go. I mean, like, how many people fit this description that we should reorganize sports around? We have men's sports and women's sports. And if the best team in the WNBA played the worst team in the NBA, the score would be 1,000,000-0. Can we organize society around that basic point with this, of course, proviso that we protect and respect people who do not fit into it?
Let's segregate society between dark-skinned people and light-skinned people because that nature made it that way, and that's how it is.
Well, nature did make it that way.
Yeah, but the difference is, God, this guy's such an idiot, man. I can't believe I'm forced to take Bill Maher's side of something. I can't believe Bill Maher looks like the reasonable person in this clip, but Neil deGrasse Tyson he's so insane, man. The difference between what he's talking about with race and what Bill Maher is talking about with gender is nobody is trying to ignore. I guess there are some people out there actually who say that they're transracial and stuff. Those lunatics, the line never, like the snowball, the slippery slope argument is true. They always take it further and further and further, but nobody's trying to say that we can be black or you can be white regardless of how you're born. But there are people who are, and also there's no racially segregated sports leagues. So if a black person tries to compete with a white person, it's okay. That's just how the world works. And it's also not dangerous. When a man goes into combat sports and competes against women, it is dangerous. Nobody's trying to say that, oh, I'm born white, but I kind of want to transition and be black. Nobody's really doing that. Of course, there's a few like woke lunatics. The exception doesn't make the rule, though. There's a ton of people who are saying, I'm a man and I want to, compete in sports as a woman. A ton of people are doing that, and that's very dangerous. So that's the difference, because we segregate sports for a reason, because it is dangerous for men to compete against women. And also, it's pointless because in sports, in physicality, the men will win every single time. The best men are way better, miles ahead of the best women in every sport, other than maybe gymnastics. I don't know. I don't follow gymnastics. I don't care. But in every sport, basically, men are way ahead than women. So not only would it be dangerous, but it would also be pointless because the men would win every single time. It's different from race, dude. It genuinely, like, the color of your skin, yeah, there's like, you have a little bit different genetics. Like, I've been working out for like 7-8 years now, and a black dude can go pick up a barbell for like 5 months and have a better physique than me. That's just, they have more fast twitch muscle fibers when they're from certain parts of the world. That's just how, the genetics work. There's little changes like that, little differences, but the difference between a man and a woman and the difference between a white dude and a black dude it's not even close. Like, it's out of this world different. And I can't even believe that that's such a bad faith argument for him to even bring up to Bill Maher there.
And it's not segregating.
Well, there was a time
segregating anything.
That attitude 150 years ago was
2 years ago. You act like this was yes, right. Lincoln. This was a big issue in the Lincoln-Douglas debates. Trans people. That's right.
No, I'm talking about black,
remember
white.
that from
I'm talking about
1861. Yes, I remember those debates.
It was 1860.
Lincoln was all about getting trans. Oh, for fuck's sake! You're ridiculous.
No. So here it is. Just all I'm saying is that, how about this? I'm looking at schools in Manhattan, and there's a school there, and there's built in the 20s and 30s. And there's a doorway that says boys and a separate doorway on the other side of the school that says girls. And I'm thinking,
God.
Why are we doing this?
Because people are mostly boys and girls?
But why split them entering a school building?
Because they pee differently? Jesus Christ, I have to explain this?
No, because you know what I thought when I saw that? It's colored fountain over here, white fountain over here. That's what I thought when I saw that.
Well, that's not the same.
But nobody is saying one is better than the other, you idiot. Whenever there was actual segregation, racial segregation, the difference would be, the one color goes over here, and then the white people go over here, and then the white side would be like way better, way cleaner, way more up to date than the black side. That's why that was bad. But if there's men and women who pee differently, go to different bathrooms, and also like schools like to separate men and women or boys and girls because, they do things. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't want them getting into certain things because they're boys and girls. And when boys and girls mix together, things happen. So they want to separate them for those reasons. Like, I remember my whole life, I'm pretty sure, like, even when I went to schools that had boys and girls in it, we had like different recesses. Like, boys' recess and girls' recess was different. It was neither one of them were better than the other. Neither one of them had access to places that the other one didn't have. It's not like segregation or racial segregation where there's a water fountain for colored people and then a water fountain for white people and the white one was way better. It's not like that, dude. And I can't even believe how bad faith this is by like him even bringing that up.
Same thing.
Well, it's not exactly the same thing, but that's what I thought. It's not exactly, I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
But this is what I always say about these kind of issues. Like, there's two ways that you can be benighted about something. One, you can be too far from it.
Yeah.
Like, I would be too far from certain issues, racial issues, of course. How could I ever know?
Right.
You can also be lost sort of thinking-wise, as I am, because I'm too far from it, if you're too close to it.
Yes.
You
miss the elephant.
Well, you miss the elephant. It's the fly on the Mona Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
Why the fly wants to be on the Mona Lisa, I don't know, and I can't even appreciate art, but okay, you get my point. And so, like, I think when you see that, I totally understand why a man of your age does, but I don't think it's accurate.
So I used to wrestle, high school and college, okay? It's relevant to this conversation, believe it or not. So I was captain of my high school team, undefeated. Although,
Wow.
but it was in New York. The real wrestlers are in like Iowa, in Oklahoma.
Oh, I'm sure there's some wrestlers.
There's some, but if you really balance
New
it out,
York
it's
has
not.
no tough guys.
We got tough guys, but they'll shoot you or punch you in the face. They're not wrestling with wrestling moves. But anyhow, what you want is a match that's interesting to observe, not where one person dominates the other. In wrestling, they know this. There are 10 weight categories. In high school, I was 190 pounds. That was 50 pounds ago or more. I was 190 pounds. Very good incentive to stay there because if I were 1 pound over, the next category was unlimited. So I was there at 190 pounds. I'm not wrestling someone 127. No. They find somebody else at 127 and wrestle 127. That makes the match more interesting for the viewer. So if we can split wrestling into 10 categories, and that becomes the wrestling match.
But all men against each other.
Correct. So, so
again,
now I get
sort
that.
of key point.
Okay. Okay. So all I'm saying is, what is it that makes the man the man? Is it the hormones? Okay. Is it, if it's the hormones and you decide to give yourself a different cocktail of hormones, I'm making this up, by the way. I'm not saying it should happen this way. It's a way to start thinking about it.
It would be
maybe the track meets have hormone categories.
And maybe giving yourself the wrong hormones is deleterious to your health. Would you not admit that? Do you think we can just safely do things like this?
So you feel this way because you're so deeply concerned about the health of the people who are trying to find their place on the gender spectrum? You care about their health so much that you don't want them to go through that?
It's not something.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like, I mean, if someone is trying to find their place on the gender spectrum, I can't even say that with a straight face, but like, we wouldn't allow them to take crack, right? Or we wouldn't want them to. We'd push them to not do crack. We wouldn't want them to do crystal meth. Why the hell would we want them to put the wrong hormones in their body? It's pretty simple. I don't understand. Like, I feel like I'm going crazy. Every time I do these videos every day, I'm like, dude, the world is just, it's getting worse and worse out there, man. These people, like, I can't believe Neil deGrasse Tyson is saying what he's saying right now to Bill Maher with a completely straight face. This is supposed to be like one of the world's leading scientists, like astrophysicist or whatever he is. I don't know if he's actually an astrophysicist, but he's supposed to be one of the smartest people. I used to like look up to him. I used to want to be like a scientist, and he was somebody that you would look up to if you wanted to do that a long time ago. Now he's just full on like woke mind virus, like full brain rot. It's really sad to see.
It keeps me up at night, but when the subject comes up, I care about them like I care about all people. So if there is something,
you do, by the way, you think about all people.
Of course.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Oh, okay. You're being
think
sincere.
about all people. No, I'm being sincere.
Yeah, I do. Yes. Yeah. Old school liberal.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want all people to have, make this very challenging world that we live in better. So that's why there's honest debate about this issue. And hey, thanks for watching the clip.
No problem, Bill. I thought that was a pretty interesting clip. Pretty insane what Neil deGrasse Tyson was saying. Equally as insane that I had to take Bill Maher's side and that Bill Maher was the responsible one. He was the one that I was agreeing with and the one that's shutting down the woke idiot for once. Let me know in the comments what you think about Bill Maher destroying Neil deGrasse Tyson and this debate after Neil just says some absolutely insane things about the gender spectrum. Let me know in the comments what you think about this whole Bill Maher versus Neil deGrasse Tyson situation.